नीचे अपन माइक के नीचे
Srila Prabhupada ki. Huh?
हाँ
Can I? Thank you.
अच्छा स्माइल
Boom.
नीचे
It's come off for some reason. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh my Lord, the all-pervading personality of God. Namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narnarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Jnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of the fallen souls. His mercy turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashiradeshi Tharane. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas present here who have not sent me a reminder for the class. They're not responsible, but I'm also a perfect representative for the theme of the verse today. So, right pick. We're reading. We're only reading the verse today, right? So we can go to the verse, which is. Uh, I think we just read an English translation. Sure. Okay. So what are we reading first?
So we're reading 16. Okay, 10, 10, 16, and 20.
Okay. So we're reading three verses, and then we'll expand on one of the verses. We can pick turns. Would you like to read the?
Yeah.
Yes, loudly, please.
Text 10. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed.
And text 16, the same chapter. Yes, Shreyanshi Prabhu.
is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtues, glories of the Lord?
Thank you. And we're reading what?
22.
22. Prabhu, you want to read? You will. He's senior. 20. Louder, please.
We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which destroys all the good qualities of a human being.
Okay. So we're expanding on text 10. I hope when we're reading these, we're also paying attention to every word and not getting some fun out of reading it loud. I don't know what fun is that, but text 10, we'll do the Sanskrit. This Prayena alpayashu sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrutah. If you actually take the synonyms, it will help you to pronounce easier the first word. So we can do the synonyms and then we can recite it. So we can do it together. Prayena, almost always. Alpa, meager. Ayusha, duration of life. Sabhya, member of a learned society. Kalau, in this age of Kali, quarrel. Asmin, herein, yuge, age. Janaha, the public. Mandaha, lazy. Sumanda, mathayaha, misguided. Manda bhagyaha, unlucky. And above all, upadrutaha, disturbed. So it's prayena alpa ayusha. You want to?
Prayena alpa ayusha sabhya.
Prayena alpa ayusha. Yeah. Second line. Kalavasmin yuge jana.
Manda Sumanda Matayo.
Manda sumanda matayo. Manda bhagya hi upadata.
Prayena alpa ayusha sabhya.
Kalavasmin yuge jana.
Manda Sumanda Matayo.
Manda matayo.
Manda bhagya hi upadruta. Kalavasmin yuge jana.
Manda Sumanda Matayo. Manda Bhagya Upadrita. Prayana Bhavishya Sabhya.
Kalavasmin yuge jana. Manda sumanda matayo.
Jai. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai. We'll read translation together again. In one. In this iron age of Kali, men have their quarrels. Interesting how it says almost always. There are some exceptions that almost always have but short lives.
Yes.
So that means that almost always, not that it 100% generally applies, but I'm only looking at how there's always in every age exceptions to that age also. You have demonic entities in Satya Yuga too, which is the golden age. And here also almost, we have shining luminaries in the age of Kali also, right? Anyway, we're just reflecting on almost always. Yes, Prabhu? You want to read? Oh, I thought I'll read it. Okay, whoever reads has to focus on every word properly. It's not about just, I don't know what is it about, but slowly and properly.
And love.
The devotees of the Lord are always anxious for the spiritual improvement of the genuine conflict. When the stages of Navasharya
analyze the state of affairs of the people in this stage of Kali, they foresaw that man would live short lives. In Kali Yuga, the duration of life is shortened not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. By keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain his health. Overeating, overstress gratification, overdependent on another's mercy, an artificial standard of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened.
So, as Srila Prabhupada is clearly saying here, that there are ways to work with the age of Kali also, right? By regulation. And we just read here that any man can maintain his health by keeping regular habits. So, this is right in the beginning of Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada is already talking about the importance of health, which comes across as a very material subject, so to speak, but of course, not to be ignored. Continue, Prabhupada.
The people of this stage are also very lazy, not only materially but in the matter of self-realization. The human life is specially meant for self-realization. That is to say, man should come to know what he is, what the world is, and what the supreme truth is. Human life is the means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of hard struggle for life in material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. But due to bad system of education, men have no desire for self-realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victims of misguided teachers.
So, of course, there are teachers in the world who are pretty much disguising themselves as spiritual teachers and pretending to give out spiritual truth, but that's not that. That's what Prabhupada is referring here. But also, what rings a bell in my head is the system of education. Because if you talk to your parents or many people around the world and they think that the kind of education for which people are spending what, how many years? If let's say if they're even doing a basic bachelor's, which people are not stopping at, they're going for masters and PhD and whatnot. As so many people. So that takes how many? I think they turn at least 26 before they finish their masters. That's like that's like the first, assume that you would live for 100 years, which doesn't usually happen in most cases. That's the first one-fourth part of your life that you're very dedicatedly giving to some form of education. And what is it for? If you closely observe, much of our education system today is a product of industrialization, which happened in Europe, some little continent, England, most of it at some point of history, and it's catered to just to breed sheeps so that they can work in factories. Of course, I mean, there's a lot of value in it also. Medical science has provided us a lot of help in terms of health and whatnot. But how does it help in character advancement, character building of a human being? We've all gone through most of that education process and we know that there is not much in it. Maybe one little subject of moral values that was in second grade, that happened in first period of one of the days of the week, in which children were just gossiping among themselves. So where's the character building, which is the essential purpose of education? And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidyavanaya Sampate Brahmane Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini, Shunichaiva Pakecha Pandita Samadarshina, that a Brahmin, a person, a learned person is one who looks at everyone with equal vision. I'm not translating as such, but in the verse, he's saying that even a dog and a dog eater are looked at with equal vision. Not that we act the same with everyone, of course. If you need to protect yourself from someone, the action will be different. But it's about looking at them with the equal vision. How much of our education system does teach this? It doesn't. There are barely any. Therefore, by definition, our education systems do not make us brahmanas and do not fill us with education or vidya vinaya. Does it teach you vinaya? Vinaya is like patience. In fact, our education systems, they make us impatient, right? Because we want to go out there and, oh, I'm not getting a job. There's a lot of anxiety that it creates. So it doesn't serve the purpose, the very definition of being educated. Okay, we'll read further. Who will read? Yes, Nitai. Prabhu.
In this stage, men are victims not only of different political creeds and parties,
but also of many different types of sense gratificatory diversions, such as cinemas, sports, gambling clubs, mundane libraries, bad associations, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickerings, and so on. Their minds are always disturbed and full of anxieties due to so many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous men manufacture their own religious faiths, which are not based in any revealed scriptures, and very often, people who are addicted to sense gratification are attracted to such institutions. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried on that the people in general have neither peace of mind nor health of body. Thank you. So, I mean, here Prabhupada's talking about people pretending to be spiritually and religiously providing authentic education, but not. And we don't have to really look for some Baba or some fake person in some part of India. We can even look at some of the influencers on Instagram, because essentially that is a religion. Trust me, a teenage girl or a guy growing up believing that Jake Paul or whatever is the center of universe, or what are the popular influencers these days? You should know. Come on, don't you hang out with kids in your school? Uh, Sorry, who? Vishnu what? Oh, sorry. No, so I mean, girls growing up to become Swifties, you know, Taylor Swift fans. You don't know that? They, when I was growing up, my sister, she had a room, and her entire one of the walls was entirely filled with One Direction, that boy band that was one, and she would chant One Direction's name while going to bed, and waking up she would have darshan of her Harry, Liam, Niall, and whatnot, these guys, and that was her religion. And we often, when we read Prabhupada's verses, and we think, okay, where do I get to see this fake religious activity happening? I haven't visited those places. Well, maybe you have, because I was a big stan growing up, an Eminem fan. So there are these are really, see, when people totally attach their heart and mind to something, then that's their religion, that's their faith, because they have a faith in an individual or in a concept, so to speak. So when we go out there to distribute this spiritual knowledge to youngsters especially, we have to keep in mind that they may not be religiously inclined, so to speak, that they may not be actively seeking God, but they have their heart attached to something or someone. So they can relate to us when we talk about strong sense of love for Krishna because he reciprocates. Well, they're hoping that Taylor Swift will reciprocate with them or something at some point. So they can relate to it. They have the spiritual thirst in them also. It's just that in your words, it should reflect when you talk to them. They should know that we understand what they're going through and not just talk mercy or something like that. I mean, just the terminology I'm referring to. So just wanted to highlight that. I'll read further. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried out on that people in general have neither a peace of mind nor health of body. The student or brahmachari communities are no longer being maintained, and householders do not observe the rules and regulations of grihastha ashram. Consequently, so please understand, because please understand this, that I was, first of all, I was thinking that what I haven't given a Bhagavatam class as such in a long time, and I still wasn't in a big mood of. But then I looked at the theme, and I was like, we recently had something, quarrel, something going on in the temple. So I was like, I could just, even if I talk around it, I'll have enough content to speak on. But what are we trying to do here in this temple, in this organization around the world, is not in flow with the time itself. I hope you understand. It's very difficult to swim against the flow of water. And we're in the age of quarrel, in the age of Kali. It's the age of distress, and we're asking people to be happy. I mean, to genuinely experience a sense of happiness with chanting, even to ourselves, to our little Mr. Mind, right? So it is never going to be easy because we're swimming against the tide. But what helps is the boats, the ropes that have been thrown to us by our acharyas, by gurus. They keep us moving forward. So it's never going to be easy. We're talking about, Srila Prabhupada's talking about brahmachari communities. How many brahmachari communities exist in the world today? Is that even 1% overall of the population? Barely. And those of which are existing, how much of a brahmachari community are they genuinely in a sense? It's questionable. I'm not talking about us in ISKCON, but all around the world, right? So, I mean, it's shameful almost that people in popular culture, I don't know how many of you are aware of, they think a brahmachari means a bachelor, just that. So we speak to uncles and all that. You know, if in Indian weddings happening, those who didn't get married for a long time, well, our friend is not here. Then usually aunties hurdle up the guy or the girl and they bomb them with, "When are you getting married? When are you getting married?" And shower the seeds of depression on some living entities. So at that time, you know what some other people comment is, oh, he will remain brahmachari only. Or he's a brahmachari. They think that if you haven't got married, you're a brahmachari. And that celibacy is probably the 2% of brahmacharya. It's an important baseline of it to stay on the path. But there's a lot more to brahmacharya, to absorbing brahmacharya. And that's just totally out of the consciousness of people in public parlance, which is a very sad thing. So we're establishing brahmachari communities here where people are actually following principles, all of you all here, and so many residential complexes around the world within our ISKCON communities. So it is against the flow of times. So it will never be easy. We will face resistance from the society, from and a vandalism incidents that happens. An example just yesterday and day before. So because that's just a natural manifestation of a result of us swimming against the time. You know, how many of you know swimming here? Quite a few of you do. You were you don't understand the question. Do you know how to swim in water? Okay, you don't. So when I don't know how many of you have, because observed even a river flowing, there are branches, twigs, and if you go to India, unfortunately, even in the holy rivers, waste flowing with the flow of river. Then if you're swimming against it, naturally you will get hit by sticks, whatnot, and all the waste coming at you. So get ready to face these things, but at the same time, we're protected by Krishna. So we'll be fine at the end of the day. But discomfort is a natural consequence in the life of people who are trying to do anything significant. And what we're trying to do here is significantly significant. So let me complete this. Men are no longer interested in spiritual values. I would say even women are not these days, many of them. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. For the maintenance of such material civilizations, man has formed complex nations and communities, and there is a constant strain of hot and cold wars between these different groups. It has become very difficult, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard due to the present distorted values of human society. The sages of Naimisharanya are anxious to disentangle all fallen souls, and here they are seeking the remedy from Srila Sutta Goswami. Srila Sutta Goswami Padiki Jai. So we've already been through this together in previous readings. How what is happening? The setup here is Sutta Goswami Maharaj is talking about Kali Yuga here. Why are you smiling? Is that the Maharaj was awkward? So actually, we'll read further. I won't break the surprise for you directly. In the next chapter, Sutta Goswami is revealing. So Bhagavatam in the very first canto is actually revealing the problem and the solution itself. So one would wonder, why do I even read next 17, 18 books? But there's a lot to unpack. Lot to unpack. This is a reality that if you love a friend, that is a statement. But there's a lot more details to it. So a lot of details. The truth has been given in the first canto itself, the solution itself. But the details will be unraveled in the successive readings. Now, according to Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavatam, he describes that there are four legs of dharma. I think we all know these. Any guesses? Raise of hands. One leg. Cleanliness, shauchya, is one leg. Nobody knows? Truthfulness, honesty. Yes, you're right. Yes, Prabhu? Pure, purity. It's the same. Cleanliness, purity is the same. Yes, Prabhu? Compassion or mercy. So there's another one which we are trying to do, austerity. So there are four legs. on which dharma stands. It's in the Bhagavatam, the analogy is used of a bull, just as a bull has, just as a bull has. Oh, there's a bull right there. Never mind. That's so. It has four legs. So what happens that there are four different yugas or times in which our material world operates in. So Satya Yuga, or the time of truth, is when all the four legs of dharma are present. Right? Dharma doesn't just mean religion, for anyone in case they're confused. Dharma is just righteousness. It's it's just the appropriate thing to do. Every living entity, and perhaps even a non-living entity, has its own dharma. Because anyway, why am I getting into technicality? If a non-living entity's dharma is to not have an active dharma, so to speak, or just to be there, then that's its dharma. It's just everyone's core propensity, dharma. So a dharma of a bird is to fly. But as a mother, the bird also has a dharma to feed her children, or a father bird has the dharma to protect the children. So every living entity will have multiple dharmas. Because we play multiple roles in our lives. Our duties, our responsibilities, and our propensities towards our mother will be very different compared to our propensities towards our wife or our partner. Right? So among all the many dharmas that we're supposed to display it uh, and follow, can become a little complicated. I mean, you can follow that path of trying to juggle too many balls together. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita tells us very clearly that Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam rajam tvam savapabhyo mokshami mashucha. That is, if you follow just one dharma, which is that you surrender unto me, then I will take care of the rest. All the dharmas he takes care of. So that is the principal dharma, the Sanatana dharma. Sanatana means timeless, eternal, which was always existing, which will always exist. This is the dharma that we're supposed to follow. Correct. So in Satya Yuga, or the age of truth, all four legs of the bull of dharma are present. And the recommended spiritual practice for that time is dhyana, or meditation. Because people are capable, all these legs of dharma are supporting people to act in very powerful ways. In Treta Yuga, which is the next yuga that happens according to the cycles of time, austerity declines. So there's only three legs present. Because austerity declines, it's a little difficult to sit for just meditate in one point. Therefore, the recommended spiritual practice of that time is yagyas, or Vedic fire sacrifices. There are instances mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures about how elaborate these yagyas used to be. We're talking about such yagyas that cannot even happen today because we cannot even produce so many grains on today's infertile lands, relatively infertile lands, to offer them in the fire sacrifices. So we can't do that in this day and age. There's not enough legs of dharma present to support us in conducting elaborate yagnas, even though we have our Pujariji here, Nityananda Prabhu, who conducts these yagyas. But that's only out of mercy that's still happening. It's not as elaborate as it would happen in Treta Yuga. So you can be reborn in next time cycle, Prabhu, if you wish to conduct elaborate yagyas. So Dwapara Yuga is the next cycle of time which happens, where purity or cleanliness also declines along with austerity. So the recommended worship for that time is deity worship, Archa Vigraha Upasana. It is said that in Dwapara Yuga, deity worship would be so opulent and elaborate that many times some deities would even speak to the pujaris who are performing the worship. That what bhoga is this? You can offer me something better. Or there are stories of how deities would even walk out of their the altars and just walk away somewhere, taking a walk and then come back, or perform different pastimes. So of course we can't perform that elaborate worship now. There's not enough legs of dharma present to support it. Only truthfulness and mercy were remaining just in Dwapara Yuga. What now? The current age, the age of Kali. Only one leg remains, which is truth, truthfulness. Every other leg is gone. It's been chopped off. by the clash of time. Even this truthfulness will become weak over time in Kali Yuga, and there's something in Kali Yuga called Ghor Kali Yuga, or when the Kali Yuga is at its peak, then even truth will start to dwindle. And that's when something will happen to save the living entities present here. Of course, another incarnation, another appearance. So, the recommended practice for the age of Kali is, of course, the chanting of holy names, Nam Samkirtan. Because Nam Samkirtan is simple, right? You just have to chant, and we can chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is said in, I think, Brihad Naradiya Puran that, and we all have heard it so many times, that Hare Nam eva kevalam, Kalo nasti, eva nasti, eva gateranyatha. And I quote that in this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way for spiritual realization than chanting the holy name of the Lord. And forgive me for citing a mundane example, but when you fall in love with someone, and sometimes you express that how much you love them, but after a while they're like, because they get used to hearing this from you. So one "I love you" doesn't work. Then you have to repeat it a few times. Re-emphasize on it. I don't know how many of you experienced it, but that guy's laughing really hard. So you have to keep on repeating it. So here in this verse, there's a constant repetition of there is no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. So Vyasadeva, Srila Vyasadeva, who's compiled all the Vedic literature, he's like, please, this is the only hope in this age of quarrel. So don't give up on it. Because there's only one leg remaining, the leg of truthfulness. So we must remember that we are trying to establish the presence of all the four legs in our lives. We're trying to do some austerity, aren't we? We're trying to keep it clean, cleanliness in our surroundings. The air itself is not clean. We know how many pollutants are present here, even though Jivadaya Prabhu will make all the efforts of keeping his room cleanest present on planet Earth. But how can he make sure that the air is clean? And how can he make sure that his roommate thoughts and mind, and his own thoughts and mind, I'm not talking about the room, are clean too? Purity of the hearts is even higher of an importance than purity of the space. And how can you make sure that that happens? So we can make an effort to keep it clean, but to keep it pure. But what about the hearts? Very difficult, very difficult. What was the other leg? Um, Mercy, compassion. Well, this is anyway not in our control. And we know how less compassionate people are becoming now in general. So we are trying to establish these. We're trying to be nice to each other. We must remember, as we just read in the translation of the words, that this is the age of quarrel. And because all four legs, in principle, cannot be established in society in general, there will be quarrels regardless. But what can help you is the last remaining leg, truthfulness. So whenever quarrels do incur, it is important, first of all, to be very truthful to oneself. Sit with oneself and question our own motives behind what we did and what we said when we said that. You're all very nice people, so you may not notice. But people are really have become experts in fooling themselves. You go out in the world and you talk to them. When people develop very strong expectations of other people's and they act out of that expectations, they're fooling themselves that I'm only doing it for their happiness. Well, but if they don't accept your offerings, whether it's your parents or your friends or your romantic partners, we know the kind of pain or heat that it causes in one's heart. They're not accepting my love. Well, they were not obligated to. And you were doing it for your own gratification because you wanted that reciprocation, which is fair enough. It's fine. It's natural. I'm not putting it down, that desire itself. But truthfulness, being truthful to yourself, this is why I'm doing it. There are people who remain brahmacharis for years, but within their heart, how many of you know the story of Kal and Nemi? This is because Ramayana is one of my most popular subjects, even though I'm not expert in that. Um, One of my favorite subjects. In Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, there's a pastime of Hanumanji. Hanumanji has to go fly to Himalayas to get a particular herb, Sanjeevani, to heal Lakshmana. And even so many other soldiers, they need a lot of healing. Was not just to help Lakshmana, but predominantly, primarily Lakshmana. So he has to fly, and Ravana knows that he's going there. So he wants to disrupt. So he sends a Rakshasa, an Asura, and he's like, distract him on the way. So Kalanemi, a demoniac entity, disguised himself as a sadhu, saffron clad brahmachari, head shaved, proper tilak. And he sits on the way. And Hanumanji is a topmost devotee. So if he's seeing a sadhu on the way, he'll naturally pay obeisances, even though he's in a rush, because time is not a factor for his speed. Manojavam maratutulya vegam, jithendriyam, buddhimadam vasishtham. Vadatmajam, vatatmajam, um, vanar yutamukyam, Shri Ramadutam, Sharanam Prapathe. Speed of the wind, speed of the mind. I don't know what all poetry is used to describe his speed. So he can pay obeisances really quick. So, but he saw a sadhu, and just in that little fraction of an obeisances, the sadhu was like, Hanuman. He has to respond. Hanumanji has to go to him to listen what he's saying. So Hanumanji lands. I think this is on the bank of a very popular pond somewhere in the Himalayan regions. I have an idea, but I'm not sure, so I won't name it. It's right now a pilgrimage spot where this happened. So Hanumanji lands, and this Rakshasa is like, "Oh, how can you do Ramakaj, Sri Ram service without performing certain purity acts? You have to conduct certain yagyas and all before you go. So there you go, bathe in that pond and come back." Hanumanji is left confused there. I mean, he's not confused, he's fixated on Lord Ram, but because he loves Lord Ram so much that if anyone takes Lord Ram's name to have a conversation with him, Hanumanji has to consider. So he's like, okay, I'll perform your rituals very quickly and then I'll be on my way, dear Sadhu. He's like, yes, yes, it won't take much time. So one instruction after another, he keeps on entangling Hanumanji in the process, trying to delay him. Because the background is that if Hanumanji doesn't reaches with the Sanjeevani herb back to Lakshmana before a certain duration, I think before the sunrise, then Lakshmana in the material pastime will not exist anymore. So he's trying to delay. Kalnemi is delaying. And Hanumanji, after a point, he understood. And then after he understood, well, he took good care of this Rakshasa. And then he was on his way back, gets the Sanjeevani herb, and of course gets Lakshmana and Sri Ram and all the soldiers to recover. Hanuman ji ki Shri. Okay, I don't know how to make it sound poetic. So Kalanemi was disguised as a sadhu, but internally he was a rakshas, right? So you could be dressed as a brahmachari, can even take vows, but internally, are you a Kalanemi or are you a proper brahmachari? Is that something you must always be conscious of? It's for every one of us and every brahmachari everywhere. So when I have my little conversations with our beloved deities up there, Shishirada, Shishir Gopinath, I already tell them, hey, there's a Kalnemi here. So don't expect much, setting low expectations. Um, but of course, one should make an effort, 100% effort to overcome it. But know that we will always be affected by this age of Kali. So this sense of truthfulness to ourselves, how much of a Kalanemi are we and how much of a genuine spiritual practitioner are we? With every step that we're taking, every conversation that we're happening with Matajis or Prabhus, what is our intention? You will not always be able to entirely stop yourself, but being truthful to yourself, even at a later time, if not in that moment, about your intentions and about your acts, is just very helpful because that will keep dharma alive. See, we cannot perform austerities to a maximum extent in this day and age. So if there will be mistakes that will be happening, which will happen, it's okay. But if you lose truth, then you've lost dharma. Don't lose truth in this day and age because only that will keep dharma upheld in our lives. You want me to slow down in speed? Okay. I have a lot more to cover, so I was like, never mind. So now we're in this age of Kali. It's a fantastic time to be here. Some people, learned scholars, even mention that it is the best time to be here, the age of quarrel. Why? Because You get to see many, many prominent incarnations and avatars of Lord happening in the age of Kali. There are many happening in our other times. And it is said that Hari Anant, Harikata Anant, that is, there is no limit to Lord and his pastimes. In every fraction of moment, every moment, there are many, many different pastimes happening around the multiple universes. Even right now in this second, we don't know how he's appearing and how he's not appearing in our universe, where he's choosing to give darshan someone in Vrindavan or even outside. Because Krishna is Swarat, he's independent. He's not limited by time as such. But there are certain prominent incarnations, avatars that he himself has has set up in his arrangements that he will appear as this personality or that. So there are many, but I think I just want to talk about three prominent incarnations of the age of Kali and why is it the best time to be around. One is, and we can don't guess. Can you play mridanga? Time for some awkward singing. Terrible singer. Disclaimer. What's up, Prabhu? How does this go? I already said no guesses. But yes, Prabhu. Mlecha nivaha nidhane kalayasi karavalam Dhumaketu meva kema api karalam Keshavadri kalaki sharira Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Kalaki Avatar ki Jai. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm quoting from a purport from Srimad Bhagavatam, so this is Prabhupada talking. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga, the heads of government will be plunderers and thieves. These thieves and plunderers take the money and property of the public by force or connivance. Therefore, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Rajnir Nirghanir Dashu Dharmabhi. As Kali Yuga advances, we can see that these characteristics are already visible. We can certainly imagine how deteriorated human civilization will be by the end of Kali Yuga. Indeed, there will be no longer be a sane man capable of understanding God and our relationship with Him. In other words, human beings will be just like animals. Can we not see it around us in society in general? At that time, in order to reform human society, Lord Krishna will come in the form of the Kalaki avatar. His business will be to kill all the atheists because ultimately the real protector is Vishnu or Krishna. Here, Prabhupada's not talking about really killing those who do not believe in Krishna. Here, atheist term is used towards those who are really, really bad people. So, this incarnation of Krishna will be coming on a horse with swords and all kinds of weapons, slaying those who are against Dharma, who are very much embodiments and have totally absorbed Kali Yuga. So all of us will be spared, I guess, because we're trying to absorb the essence of other yugas and transcendental essence. So I think we're fine. How much of a fortune will it be to be slain by Krishna? But we don't want that fortune. But something even higher, for something even higher, what to do? What to do? Play Mridanga. Another incarnation. Kalki Avatar is very merciful because Kalki Avatar, by killing people, is delivering them liberation. You know, when Krishna slays demons, he provides them liberation. The kind that we do not want as devotees, but still liberation, merging into Brahman effulgence. You know, for almost always getting freed from cycles of birth and time. But devotees are greedy people. Who wants that? So even more merciful than Kalaki is another awkward singing. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More तुम बिना के दानलो जगत संसारे पतित पावना हेतु तव अवतारा मोसमा पतिता प्रभु न पाई बेआरा Thank you. So here enters Mahaprabhu, Krishna as golden incarnation, golden complexioned, because of several deep reasons, which we won't go in right now. Srila Prabhupada says in the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 8, which is a book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, that there are 4 yugas or millennia, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. And each millennium, the Supreme Lord incarnates. And each incarnation has a different color according to the yuga. In the Satya Yuga, the color of the principal incarnation is white. In the Treta Yuga, the color is red. In the Dwapar Yuga, the color is blackish, Krishna himself. And in the Kali Yuga, the color of principal incarnation is yellow or golden, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 8th chapter, 13th verse, by the astrologer Gargamuni, who calculated Krishna's horoscope in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Our very own Mahaprabhu ki. So, Mahaprabhu is very merciful because when we're chanting Krishna's name, we're avoiding offenses. Mahaprabhu doesn't consider offenses. When he was here in our world, he would look at people and he would give them Krishna prema. Imagine that you don't want something and someone gives it to you, and it turns out to be the most valuable jewel ever. Because often we really feel that if we get what we want, we'll be happy. But are you sitting here actively wanting $1 million? But if it lands in your lap, will you still be happy or not? Or will you be sad? Oh, I've got these $1 million in my lap. I didn't even want it. So when you get what you want, then you become happy. That's not true. Please notice that when you kind of accept what you want, and then when you kind of accept what you get is when then you're happy. So acceptance is a principle of happiness. You have accepted those $1 million to you, so you're happy, even though you didn't want it. But on an even higher level, that happiness will be temporary. So ultimate happiness comes out of reestablishing our spiritual identity as servitors of Krishna. And that will create a lasting happiness. So that was a multi-layered lesson on happiness. You didn't even want. So Mahaprabhu gave Krishna prema, the topmost thing that can ever be given to living entities, without them even wanting. How merciful is this incarnation? Therefore, the Kali Yuga is the best time to be around. Who wants to go to Satya Yuga? You do? Wonderful. But even more merciful than Mahaprabhu. Oh, is that a blasphemy to say? Is the name of Mahaprabhu, is the name of Krishna. Because right now, Mahaprabhu is not present here in body with all of us, but he's present in his name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sing. Jai Naam Prabhu ki. So, Mahaprabhu is so merciful, so loving. But where is he? Hey, Mahaprabhu, please come here. He's not coming in body. But if I'm chanting, I'm getting Krishna's association and as his name avatar. Naam Prabhu is very merciful, please. We have to give him the credit. Okay? So, no problem if we missed being around Mahaprabhu when he was here. It's a sad thing, regardless. But we have Naam Prabhu here. Srila Prabhupada says, if one is not actually connected with a bona fide disciplic succession, whatever mantras he chants will not bring the desired result. Any person who is seriously desirous of achieving real happiness, Krishna consciousness, must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. I just wanted to quote it here because we're all in different stages of our spiritual journey. And Nam Prabhu, Krishna in the form of his names, Mahaprabhu in the form of his names, will 100% be merciful to all of us, whether or not we ever get initiated. And someone like me who genuinely knows he's not worthy of it. And many of us, we see our anarthas in our hearts and we may feel like it is not for us because we're not there yet. But Prabhupada says that it is an important step. So it is an important step. So it's a reminder for people like me because the reason why I'm bringing it up because I was speaking to our Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti, Mark Swami Maharaj, before he left for his recent trip, the night before I was with him. And we were talking about so many things. But he told me that Vishesh, you should aim to get initiated. This year, that should be your target, or whenever you can. He said that it is a very important step. And I said, Maharaj, why is it so important? My eternal relationship with Krishna is eternal. And I'm chanting his name anyway. The name doesn't change. Krishna has all the potencies in his name every moment that it's chanted and heard. But Maharaj said that, it's more like an official stamp, a commitment. We can love people throughout, but it is not what he said about marriage, but we can love people throughout our life. But you know that a marriage kind of makes it very solid and official. It's a great statement to even to ourselves that now I've taken a serious vow in front of fire. But Shastras, they actually say that the chanting that happens pre-initiation takes you to an initiation. And after initiation, results in the revelation of your eternal Swarup and your connection with Krishna in your heart. So it's an important step. Since we're talking about the mercy of the name of Krishna, which will always be relevant without or with initiation, I just wanted to talk about the importance of initiation because many of us are in that loop right now. Where to go? Should we take it or not? Is it important or not? Talking about the glories of the name of Krishna, I believe is incomplete without talking about the importance of taking a shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and being connected to the Guru Parampara officially. Something for you to research on after this class. So, Kalaki, Mahaprabhu, Nam Prabhu, many merciful incarnation of Krishna always present, but top three in this age of Kali, encouraging us to be present here. But we're still greedy, we're devotees. Devotees are the most greedy lot. They're not even settling with liberation. Otherwise they'd be like, sure, I'll wait till Kalki comes around and Krishna kills me, I'll get some liberation. But these are greedy people, so they want to be with Mahaprabhu, they want to be with Nam Prabhu. But there are some people who are even more greedy, and they believe in bonuses, not just salary. You? Okay. So Mridanga. Actually, okay. Borosu kerko burgai, borosu kerko burgai. Borosu kerko burgai, borosu kerko burgai. Surabhi kunjete namahat kuleche. Surabhi kunjete namirhat kuleche. Koranitai, Koranitai. Koranitai, Koranitai. Bhakti Vinodaki Koi, Bhakti Vinodaki Koi. Nitai Charana Benar Nahi Ashray. Koranitai, Koranitai. Koranitai, Koranitai. Jai, Nityananda Prabhu ki. This is bonus. This is bonus. Can we go back to our today's verse that we read together? And synonyms, word for word. The reason, because if we go through the translation of this verse, it doesn't directly talk about all the things that I talk about today, right? Mahaprabhu, Nam Prabhu, Kalki Avatar. The purport doesn't even mention these things. How do these things land in my head? How? Just one word. Synonyms. Can you read the word kalau? Nityananda namastubhyam premananda pradayate kalau kalimachanasaya janava pataye namaha. Pranam mantra of our beloved Nityananda Prabhu. I just read the word kalau. It reminded me of Nityananda Prabhu. And that's all you need. Bhakti Vinod Daki. Oh no, that's a different song. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, all the Acharya says that. What is it? Nitai Charana Padma? Oh. Oh. Nityananda Prabhu, why? So this is just one word which reminds you of Nityananda Prabhu, and that fills your head with all the knowledge about Dharma, all the knowledge about Krishna and his incarnation, about Kaliki, about Mahaprabhu, about Nam Prabhu. What else do you need? Just the shelter of lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Because we know Jagamadai pastime. Who can you think of a better representative of the age of Kali, the age of quarrel, and all the bad things that you can think of than Jagai Madhai themselves, the two brothers who were born as Brahminical, in a Brahminical setup, but they grew up to be, and ultimately because of whatever bad company is super important, they became demoniac entities almost, perfect representation of the age of Kali. And Nityananda Prabhu, when he was trying to spread Krishna consciousness in the eastern part of India, he was like, the local goons, the dawn of the place, if I convert them, if I make their hearts purer, then people of the region, they will be delivered from the fear of the local dawns, Jagai Madai. But they will also, then Jagai Madai would become proper positive influencers, and then they can, uh, force people to take up spiritual path almost. So Nityananda Prabhu is very innovative. Innovation is a very important quality for all of us. We have to learn from him. Yes, Prabhu, I can see. What? You want this? Okay, so Nityananda Prabhu went to Jagai and Madhai with, who was accompanying him? Srila Haridas Thakur and Namacharya. So he went to them, and then he was like, Jagai and Madhai, Prabhus, please chant Krishna's name. Please chant Krishna's name, because he likes to beg to people to chant Krishna's name. Remember this when we go for Sankirtan. And then Jagai and Madhai are like, no. So they kind of escaped from there. They became violent, Jagai and Madhai. Then, because our Nityananda Prabhu also doesn't have a habit of giving up, something for us to remember, not giving up, perseverance. So he and Haridas Thakur Maharaj, went back again. And this time, Madhai, he stuck Nityananda Prabhu with a piece of broken earthen pot. So he hit him. And he was bleeding from his forehead, Nityananda Prabhu. At that time, Jagai, one of the brothers, he understood that how merciful and full of love is Nityananda Prabhu, that in spite of this violence on him, he's still not willing to let go of these two people. honestly, with the people who became violent like this, they haven't just experienced love, and they have the biggest hunger for love. This guy got a one glimpse of love, Jagai, and he was able to know that. Of course, Nityananda Prabhu's presence bestowed this mercy on him for him to realize it, but just with this one fraction of little love that he understood that this guy is not leaving us. He really seems to care for us. His heart turned around. That should be your mood also while approaching people and dealing with devotees here. So Jagai got mercy of Mahaprabhu because he took Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet at his shelter. Madhai, on the other hand, because he hit Nityananda Prabhu, so Mahaprabhu said that I won't give you mercy. So Mahaprabhu is merciful. Nam Prabhu is also merciful because Madhai must have said, Mahaprabhu, please give me mercy. So he took Krishna's name. So Nam Prabhu didn't also exactly help in this situation. Who helped? Nityananda Prabhu. So Madhai begged forgiveness from Nityananda Prabhu. And then, I don't know what's happening out there, but, and then he begged mercy from Nityananda Prabhu. And then he was forgiven by Mahaprabhu and got the biggest mercy that could be bestowed on a living entity. So we must remember that our bonus is very important. Out of the top 3 incarnations, there's a bonus incarnation of Nityananda Prabhu that we must not forget. With that, I apologize for going over time and apologize for this singing that you had to bear of this people. We don't have time for questions or anything.